So this is a quick tizzy called Months of the Year. In February, you will move out of my way on the sidewalk as an apology, as if to say, I'm sorry my male ancestor did X, Y, or Z to your male ancestor. Because in February, I am the descendant of a Black man who was whipped, broken, and hung. In March, you remain in the middle of my path despite being on the wrong side of the sidewalk, as if to say, I am not sorry that my ancestors hypersexualized and raped your female ancestors, because in March, I am the descendant of a Black woman. There is no repentance for Black women because we do not matter. We only matter when you need us. So we might as well not exist at all. But we do, and we will continue to. And you all will simply have to make peace with that and find a way to live with it. That's all. Thank you. So this is called Just One Story. I don't think I breathed the entire time. Or if I did, it wasn't deep enough or worth remembering. I tried to keep my eyes on the pages. I kept telling myself, just read the book. But I couldn't. My eyes kept moving to the top of the screen, trying to gauge the response of the teacher. If I could not see myself speaking on the video, I wouldn't have known I was reading. All I could hear was my heart beating. All I could feel was my chest rising and a light sweat start to break. This shouldn't be an issue, I remind myself. But the silence between me requesting to read a story featuring a Black female protagonist and the teacher agreeing is deafening. When I can't hear my heartbeat, I hear the ringing of the silence and the panic that ensued. I feel the apology for asking that I swallowed as it sits in my chest. I have done nothing wrong. It is Black History Month. How can I do this internship as a teacher with a Black student and not read at least one story about a happy Black family? How do I justify that? I can't. So I read the story, and when it was over, everything hurt, but I smiled. And on we went back to the regular programming, some crap about a bear. Thank you. This poem is called Exam. It will take me 3 years to become a teacher. I will sit through seminars, write papers, and take certification exams. I will study for hours on end in the hopes of becoming an educator. I will teach hundreds of students the skills they need to advance their education and be successful. But you will be my most important student. You will be my most loved student. You will be the hardest to teach. You will be the most rewarding student I could ever have. But your existence will be my exam. My textbooks are history and the advice of my elders, but the thing is, my love, that the textbooks I will use to teach you are outdated. Try as I may, there is no scientifically proven skills or vocabulary that I can teach you to ensure that when you are pulled over by a cop, you will leave that situation alive. I will teach you your rights. I will teach you the appropriate stances. I will teach you their rules. I will teach you manners, but I cannot teach you how to make others see your humanity. We can only hope that one day they will. Thank you.
All right, the title of the poem is The End. The end is near, feeling the light glow, sparks flowing like fireworks on the 4th of July, exploding. Liberty, justice, freedom for us all, breaking through the glass shattered ceilings. Glass, ouch, that hurts. The pain, but the plateaus are nowhere near in sight, guiding me to the water side. Wash away my sins as I cry into the night. Sobering to fly high above the sky, painted like a canvas, brightly moving near. Loudly shouting with a splatter of paint, pushing through our pores, forgetting the past, ignoring the pain. Persevering because resiliency is the tone of the human race, which is powerful to blur the lines because the end is not where it is, but the end, it's here. The hands on the clock. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Seconds on the clock count down to the minutes on the dot. The perpetual bliss is winding down in the early AM. Awakened by my emotions, stirring the heart, it's lonely. The beats of my heart are like music to my ears, such a calming tune in the still quiet darkness that surrounds me in my bedroom. Careful not to disturb the peaceful Zen zone. I sit back and relish and take it all in, wrapped up in a rapture of my own true thoughts, fresh newness to a start to something new, something I never knew. Fresh, pure with purpose, truth to thine mind, body, and soul. The Trinity has finally become one, vulnerable and weak at this point, not hiding from myself. Looking at the situation with clear eyes, transparency through and through, transduction has got this viral sense of I'm catching or allowing myself to experience something new, something great. I'm enjoying every single minute of this. Mindset so free, flying. The mindfulness is fueled by the spirit, but not to forget that the freedom is here because I am here with you tonight. Safety and security, easy living, no problems to think of. The ability to just vibe with one another, allowing time to just pass through us as if we are just here, sailing on the minutes because the clock is going tick, tock, tick, tock. Will you let this pass you by or will you join in as the hands on the clock go tick, tock, tick, tock. The title of this poem is Have You? Have you ever felt empty, containing nothing? Lost and afraid with nothing left to give? Have you ever felt like you were trapped in a whirlwind of surrealism, hiding behind a facade? Have you ever known what it is like to ask the question from the ones who are supposed to protect you about the eyes of the light in which they see you? Have you ever been worried about being judged by 12 rather than being carried by 6? Buried 6 feet under because of the color of your skin instead of the content of your character and who you are in life? Have you ever looked in the mirror scared of the reflection that was right there before your own very eyes? Characterizing yourself as succumb to what you truly are. A queen or a king, a ruler, royalty above all. Have you ever wondered what it was like to encounter a bad encounter that ends up with you being the headline to a storyline? Have you ever felt subpar in a situation, hopeless, powerless, because you knew the odds were against you from the time you stopped and said your name? Have you ever stayed frozen, holding your hands to the steering wheel, praying that you get to utter the words just to show them you aren't who you think or what they think you are? You are not a threat to society, not a threat to yourself, not a threat in general, because you are a human being. Have you ever seen the lights flashing and not knowing what you did wrong? Have you ever been a victim? Victimized, not because of who you are, but because of what they thought you were? Have you ever understood or had to explain to your child the two justice systems that exist because the fortitude that stacks against them in American society is wrong? Have you ever felt the warm moments of what it was like to grow up in a reality just because you were a person of color? Have you ever just wanted and cried out for the change? Seen the mothers that hang their head in shame? Just tell me. I want to know. Have you ever? Because these are all have you evers that I know oh so well.
This is called skills.
All right.
Stop overthinking, doing too much exercise, catastrophizing life by jumping to conclusions without all of the information, like That one time of disappointment or embarrassment when you thought you did your worst, but you ended up learning something else in the midst of a failure. It takes a lot to reframe your thoughts, especially at a time like this. However, realize the only thing that is constant is change. And learning to adapt is a huge thing. I mean, skill, because it's your self-esteem, grit, and will that gradually develop and keep you still in a place to help you think about what to do. And that brings about change and composure, and that'll help regulate your emotions, which will give you a chance to get your new vision in focus. Now, write that out and come up with a new plan to rethink and become more disciplined. Be patient with your growth and embrace change. You've overcome an obstacle, and let's be realistic. We celebrate small victories, and that helps us to become more optimistic. Find your purpose in this world because you do have a place, and where you are in your journey right now, that's perfect. Be aware of yourself and practice self-care because above all else, your health is very aware. You can't be available for someone else if you're not here for yourself. And remember, life is full of challenges, so take them as they come. Free your mind. Be like water, fluid enough to change, strong enough to break things. Just know with that, you've learned to be resilient. Thank you. I will call this piece definitions. In order to be healthy, you have to heal thyself. I mean, the word tells you what to do. Heal thy, and then you do what you do. Those old wounds will fester and rot, and that leads to other diseases, does it not? I mean, the dis-ease of not healing means that hurt people, but this is just a poem or a small call to action to ask you, are you really healthy? Yes, your diet is balanced and you exercise. However, did you forgive yourself for holding all that pain inside? No, not yet. Well, you've got to let it go. Breathe in, blow it out, and begin to think how holding on to all of that hurt has manifested negative energy. But this is just a poem, and I'm not telling you what to do. It's just a few suggestions on how to feel better, be happy, and most of all, healthy. But this is just a poem. Thank you. Letter to my 12-year-old self. I know you have to get this because I'm sending it to myself, and I know you're comprehending by the books that are on your shelf. I need you to read this so your future self will know how to carry yourself and act like a lady so the flower that bloomed will continually grow. I know it would have been easier just to stay with Shel Silverstein, but his lessons were for your beginning, and I'm trying to bring you into your adolescent years. And although it's hard to see, I had to have someone tell me that since the Creator made thee, that no one ever replicates themselves ugly. So remember, you are beautiful, even if it's just to me. Make that a mantra daily, and then you will understand at daybreak that no matter what's at stake, you are the best that was made. And with time, you'll get better, and your mind will be filled with things divine. And of course, boys will catch your eye, but continue to let them pass by. Remember, books before boys and books before bed. It'll keep you focused and later keep your pockets fed. Knowledge is the only thing that you own outright. So keep studying and keep your eyes on that prize. Get that paper so your intelligence is never disguised. A plea from the wise. You were provided 3 gifts. They are between your head, between your legs and your ribs. And make sure you take care of them, although people will try to make a mess of them. They will try to confuse you. They will try to abuse you. They will try to break and bruise you. And words hurt more than sticks do, but don't let them stick into you. Remember your lessons and how people act. There's no more to say because there's all truth in that. Actions always speak louder than words. And I hope you keep this close because this is what I wish someone would have told me when I was 12 years old. Thank you.
Here it goes. taking off sprinting down the path of healing and not looking back after having glanced back, slowing down the process several times after hearing you call again was the most liberating feeling. That's it. This one I call self-love. It's also short and sweet. I no longer bathe in the ice-cold water of self-loathe that made me feel utterly meritless. I relish in much warmer water now. The day you decide to stop putting your bliss in the hands of others to carry, the day they drop everything you're made of, leaving you to clean up the mess by yourself, the day you decide to pick it up again, carrying it all on your own, and learn to only allow others to help keep your balance, is the day you become unstoppable.
This one is called Just the Ones That Made the News. In 1999, there was Columbine, where first died a girl, same name as mine. Years later, we look, there came Sandy Hook, gunned down 20 children, barely able to read storybook. Over on the West Coast, the man was unable to boast. No girls wanted to sleep with him, so he turned them to toast. Entered in the holiest of places, every intention to only shoot black faces. Media reluctant to say hate crime, though he himself identifies as race. Again, another hate crime we meet. The police took over 3 hours, there was no retreat. Love is love is love is love. He went there that day to squash the heartbeat. By now, none of us can say we're surprised, the deadliest yet, 59 girls and guys. Right now we debate and hashtag pray for Las Vegas, how many more times before our country gets wise. The Parkland kids were forced to grow up, aside from the 17 lives that were took. School walkouts, march for our lives, the youth have spoken, enough is enough. And now it has happened right here in our home. Feels redundant to repeat what we have already known. Now we stand VB strong with our family, our friends, and our city. This reoccurring tragedy has now become our own. Thank you. One of the worst lies I have ever been told is that Van Gogh ate yellow paint to bring happiness to his soul. If the story is true, the reason isn't so quaint. The truth of the matter is he wanted to die. At some point, the depressed were sick of being trivialized, so they made their suffering look pretty, and now it is glamorized. Now their art is open for the world to see, but the inspiration behind it still gets dismissed. Sylvia Plath was seriously hurting. Critics didn't notice until publishing Ariel. Too little, too late, 2 years after her burial. An unnecessary loss of a talent so great, why didn't we realize before she took her life at 30? They love works about death, somehow managing to focus only on the beauty and ignore all of the pain. It couldn't have been clearer when Emily said she felt a funeral in her brain, but nobody knew up to her very last breath. It's easy to romanticize darkness if you've only known light. You won't understand, can't relate to their plight. It's like drowning in quicksand. To ignore it is heartless. They've turned depression into another aesthetic. Metaphors help keep it vague, keep the suffering disguised. It's been everything from gray skies to the plague. But remember, the darkness is not all we have to advertise. Joy can be just, if not more, poetic. Thank you. They say hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Retribution rain on her enemies. Can't escape her wrath, stuck for centuries. Tigress strikes in the night, her prey go unwarned, donned in black for a funeral not mourned. The sinners shall pay for their treacheries, suffering in her penitentiaries. Glinda to Alfalba she is transformed. But true fear lies not in fire, but ice. Beware the pitchfork and eyes made of steel. Most dangerous empress knows to feign nice. Sweet smile shields the rage within that she feels. Nonchalance and forgiveness really hides vice. You wrong her, you'll be Bathory's last meal. Thank you.
Yeah, the poem is Looking Up. Let's have hope where there may be none. Life's a journey, and we live for fun. Look deep into your soul, and you will find that golden goal. Remember, life is here to excite. There's a new day after each night. So many objects get passed by. Be sure to look for hope and try. With hope, there is no dream. You are the key to your own self-esteem. There will be bruises and there will be scars, but it's all worth it when you reach for your stars. Thank you. Okay. This one I've titled The Pains of Life. The pains of life are always there. No one promised that life is fair. Take a moment to stop and just breathe in that fresh air. Medicines and therapies only prolong the villains and worries which we all see as wrong. Searching and finding the answers are key. The best cure for healing could be just that simple song. Picking up stones and flowers along the way, the connection, knowing what life has to say. Taking in moments and knowing there is more. Then you exhale and begin that new day. It is your life. You know what you need. We all have briars and that occasional weed. Take a moment to stop and plant that much needed seed. Thank you. This one is called The One Times in My Moments. The laughters, the smiles, the coos, the one-time feelings that you love. Can one thought truly take away all those one-time feelings? The dooms, the glooms, the uglies, the negatives that you feel. Can one thought truly take away one-time feelings? The singing, the touches, the tranquilities of life. Can one thought truly take away all those one-time feelings? The mountain's majesty, the soar of the eagle, the rising and the setting of the sun. These are the feelings that can truly take away those one-time feelings.